then they hit the post or something. I got my head up and I was like, I saw him there. Is he actually just sitting there? He's like, the guy was just slinging in. The guy was just sitting at the 6-yard box going, no one. I'm like, I was like kind of in front of the post. Like, it was so close to that was like, I mean, it was good by then, but holy fuck. I just had to crack it. Oh, yeah, and I was like, yeah, and you're just going, running back out, going. I probably should have taken a touchdown there, right? No, you definitely could have. It was Saturday.
Well, welcome to Arthur Eden Oval, where the skies are blue, the breeze is light, and the stage is set for a classic autumn showdown in the Northern New South Wales NPL. It's round 7. It's Lambton Jaffas versus Newcastle Olympic, and this is your match of the round. Lambton are desperate to rediscover that winning feeling. After 5 rounds without a victory, they finally have their full squad available. Tenchevsky's men have been gritty, defensively disciplined, and now for the first time all season, they've got weapons on the bench and are ready to roll. Today, it is certainly personal because the man they once relied on to find the net, Cale Bradbury, returns to the ground he once lit up wearing the blue of Olympic. 5 goals, 2 assists already this season. He's in form and he's a danger every single minute he's on the park. Olympic, though, they have a point to prove too. A narrow derby loss last week left them frustrated and empty-handed despite dominating large patches of the match. Coach Paul Davidis knows they're creating chances, but against the Jaffas' Stonewall backline, they will need to take them. And with Roy O'Donovan returning on the bench, the attacking options only get more dangerous. This is more than just 3 points. It's a test of identity and momentum. I'm Chris McPherson, bringing you all the action, and joining me in commentary is former Newcastle Jets midfielder and Bayern Munich trialist, Ben Kenarovsky. Kenna, this one has all the ingredients of an absolute cracker on a cracking afternoon.
It certainly does. It's a wonderful day for some football. We have some great lineups coming up, and I think it'll be a good matchup to see the attack of Olympic up against the strong, mighty defensive Jaffas.
Let's take a look at those lineups, and we'll start with the visitors, Newcastle. Olympic in goals, of course, number 1, Adam Pearce. Number 3 is Jai Robb by 5. Marcus Duncan, their captain. 6, Zach Thomas into the starting lineup. 7, Cale Bradbury. We touched on him coming back to his old home, as is number 8, Ben Hay. 11 is Lockie West. 13, Nathan Toby. 17, Jared Muller. 22, Jack Reed-Jones. And 23, Adam Zervis. The starting 11 for the Jaffas in goals. The experience of number 1, Ben Kennedy. Number 3 is Pat Bond. 4, Jimmy Oates. 6, Joey Langlois. 8 is Shisuke Kirihara. 10, Archie Finn. 15, Sam Donnellan. 17, Riley McNaughton. 23, Tom Waller. 24, Matt Cahill. And 44, Nikolai Topor-Stanley. Ben, I was talking about it off the top there. There's a little bit of experience sitting in the shadows on the bench right next to us here for Newcastle Olympic. You've got Reece Cooper and Roy O'Donovan coming off the pine. Yeah, they've definitely very experienced boys. We've even got Luke Rutledge and the rest of the crew. It's a very experienced bench. I think the coach is going to be quite happy considering how much depth they have there, and especially going into the match, depending how they go. I think it'll be amazing to see what they will bring when they come on. As you see the two teams heading out, Duncan and Kennedy leading their respective sides out. The one thing that neither side lacks is, as you said, depth on the bench, but also experience. There's plenty of guys here who've played, 100 games plus either in the A-League or at the NPL level. Yeah, definitely. I think I forgot to even mention Blake Green, that's on the bench for Newcastle Olympic. Sorry, keep saying Hamilton Olympic. Yeah, but both teams have quite an array of depth and some players with some amazing careers that are playing, and there's other ones that are just starting out. So for them to be able to learn from them and develop as players will be amazing. It'll be an exciting match. I think Ben Kennedy out there looks like one of the assistant refs. Might need an outfit change. Yeah, there's a bit there. You can only tell the difference in the shorts. I'm not sure. He's little signals here, mate. I'm not sure if how he'd go sprinting up and down half the touchline though. How do you reckon? Oh, I think it'll be a good test for him. He pretty much sticks to the line anyway when he's in goal, so could be the same. Oh, we'll wait and see what they've got to offer these two sides coming into this fixture. Lambton sitting in a very unfamiliar place down in 9th. Newcastle Olympic sitting just inside the top 5. But only 5 points separate them, so a win here could get Lambton within touching distance of Olympic. A win, though, for Olympic for the moment would lift them up to 3rd on the ladder. Obviously, after last weekend with some washouts, we've got some catch-up games this week. That ladder's a little bit fluid, so we'll wait and see how that plays out. But there's a lot on the line here. We know Lambton don't often sit that low on the ladder, so they'll be wanting to make sure they find their way back into form. Yeah, I think so, and I think they've got that in them to maybe cost themselves a goal here or there, so it'll be important that they do get out there, try not to concede, because I think Olympic have a bit of that strike force up front, and especially with what they have powering on the bench as well, that'll be key that they're on their game for the entire match. And like you said, the ladder does paint a picture that they've got an important match coming up with some washout games to catch up, so the wins are everly important. Well, that's the key, isn't it? Lambton for them, they didn't play last weekend. That was the scheduled match of the round up there at Western, so a little while since they've had a game, and it's probably been a good opportunity, as we touched on in the intro, for Dave Tenchevsky to get this team back to having everyone fit and firing and on the paddock. But it's also a little bit of a momentum shifter, I guess. It's hard when you've had that bit of a longer break. I think so, especially Hamilton and even Western. That would have been a great matchup and a great test for them. So build from that and take that momentum into the game. We'll see how this game develops today. But I think we'll see what happens when Roy gets on. He's a bit old these days, but, you never know. We'll see how he goes up against former teammate Nikolai Topor-Stanley. That could be a fun little battle. That'll be a good clash. Remind me of the old days. They were both younger. Just in case the listeners are wondering, Roy O'Donovan definitely within earshot of us, so I'm sure Kenny will have some tips from him as he warms up and gets ready to go out there. Yeah, that'll probably be the first of many digs at Roy. I like that. We'll keep it rolling. In the meantime, we are underway here, and Kirihara's on the ball, lays it out wide. Lambton happy to play it back through that man that we touched on just before, Topor-Stanley. Langlois dropping deep back, lays it off to the experience of McNaughton. He goes long, looking for Cahill. Can't quite reel it in, and we'll have the first throw in of this game.
Yeah, nice relaxed start, I think, from both sides. Just feeling each other out, seeing which one's going to make the first move. Again, with their Jaffas' strong backline, I think Olympic is going to be key for them to move that ball from left to right.
Counter here for Lambton. Opportunity at the far post. Doesn't quite get cleared by Olympic. Zervis heads it away. Waller there trying to work to retain it. Lays it off to Bond. Back to Waller now. They play it back. First half chance. Falls away of Lambton. A little bit of an air swing for Finn. Olympic can't quite clear it for the time being. Bond drops it back now. Topple Stanley. All the way back to McNaughton. Not always a centre-back, Riley McNaughton, but made the shift there in recent seasons out of necessity and has done a wonderful job in that position.
Yeah, he's quite comfortable across all positions in the back line. I think across his career he's played nearly every one. I think even up higher as well, but he's most suited to that back line position.
As touched on off the top, there's a few players that have crossed the divide, especially in the last off-season, which makes a little bit of extra spice for this one. And Carl Bradbury, most notably, he's already got 5 goals, which is the tally he racked up here for Lambton last season. As we see, all of a sudden, another opportunity, crossed into the box, but off target. Yeah, the Bradbury one was the biggest of the defections, but obviously we know there's been a couple go each way in the off-season.
Yeah, I think so, but that's what creates that beautiful rivalry that we have in football, and it makes it exciting to come to these games and see what they have to offer. Cal will obviously have something to prove against his former side.
Ben Hay, another of those in blue this year, was in yellow previously, while Joey Langlois, Archie Finn and Lockie Griffiths have gone the other way. It was a bit of a sliding doors in the off-season, players going from yellow to blue and blue to yellow. As Adam Pearce just says, no, we're not going to play this one out, and sends it downfield. That man at the back of the defence just working his way forward. Zach Thomas is going to have to be cautious. 4 yellow cards from 4 games already this season. Now he can be a fiery character and likes to wear his heart on his sleeve when he's playing.
He does, and that's what makes him a great footballer.
Kuhara now trying to create something on the edge of the box. Beats one, cuts back inside Rob Way and plays it into the side of the net. Not ever threatening Pearce.
No, they got a corner out of it, but nice forward attacking play there and being aggressive with the ball. I think it's probably going to be key from Jaffas today. They're not the most naturally attacking team, so they're going to have to really try and progress forward as best they can in the most natural and probably direct way that they can make use of.
Now, at this point of the season, they've scored less goals than any other team in the league. They've scored just 3 across their 5 fixtures. The next off that list is New Lambton, who are winless and pointless through 5 games with 6 goals. And the referee spotted a foul there in the contest and will diffuse the attacking raid. He's happy just to lay it off. Well, meander out. Duncan will bring it out now for Thomas. Lob forward. Looking for Bradbury. He gets the inside run. Can't get the bounce that he needs. Back infield for Zervis. Distributes nicely. Griffiths can't hang on to it. It's turned over. Oates now advancing forward. Finn, one of those former Olympic players. Under a lot of pressure, but manages to push it wide for Cale. Tries to thread the needle. Can't quite do it. Thomas partially clears it. Denellen crosses it in, looking for the back post. Punched away by Pearce. Zervis clears it down towards what would have been halfway, but it's intercepted by Langlois.
I think that
puts on the accelerator, gets to the edge of the 18-yard box, crosses it in, falls to the back post, bounces up kindly for Pearce.
I think that's going to be the key for Olympic today, is keeping that ball in transition. As soon as they win it, making sure they lock it down. Jaffas are quite strong defensively and very well structured in that aspect, so making sure that they do keep that ball and retain it, it's going to be very important.
Thomas just with some running repairs here.
I've never seen a player ask for the whistle to do his shoelace up, though.
5 yards, 5 yards.
Bradbury. We touched on it before, Lambton, the struggles offensively. Defensively, there's only Edgeworth and Azuri that have conceded less than the most. So I guess if you're struggling to score, at least if your defence is tight, it's going to keep you in some contests.
Yeah, it's all relative, I think. If you're not conceding as much, you obviously don't have to score as many. Makes life a bit easier for the strikers, but at the same time, they want to score as many goals as they can, as most strikers do.
Ball push forward. Thomas Almost rolled his ankle. He doesn't quite get as much of it as he might have liked. Dangerous here. It's an open net now. Can Finn finish? No, he can't. Well broken up by the captain in Duncan, but it's not completely cleared. Finn now. And sprayed wide in the end, and it'll be a throw-in for Olympic. And going to need some running repairs here, it looks like, for Zach Thomas. He had a collision earlier with Archie Finn, and the elastic on his boot, it appears, has come undone. It wasn't his shoelace.
Yeah, that would make most coaches lose their hair, I think, when PC does stuff like that.
We've got there with the throw-in for Olympic for the time being. Let's see if we can get that clearance. Topple Stanley lobs it up. It's going to be a lottery ball. Who does it come down for? Thomas with the clearance. Now McNaughton kicks it back over his head into attack. Kirihara goes to ground, as does West. Deflected again. Thomas, calm and composed, just going to play it back to Pearce. That's a better back pass this time. Topple Stanley pushes forward, heads it, looking for a teammate in attack. There's no one there. It's clear towards halfway. Bradbury with time. Plays it back into between two players. They get away with that one thanks to Thomas. Reed Jones, West, Reed Jones again. They're going all the way back. Jaffas just tightening the screws and pressing high.
Yeah, I think they're just very well organised in their defensive structure, making it very difficult for Olympic. I think Olympic's just got to keep moving that ball a bit quicker, get their players in opportunities earlier to receive that ball.
Oates now, opportunity to put it into the box, cuts back inside, beats one, rolls away again to beat another. Looked like it might have gone across the byline, but he's pulled it up just beforehand. Now Waller, happy to just lay it off as they try and find some space. Oates now crossing into the box, just wide the header from Carl. Nervous times for Olympic as Jaffas just push up and keep creating opportunities early here at Arthur Eden.
Yeah, that's better from Jaffas getting the ball into the box. I think a lot of teams are very reluctant to actually put the ball in and create an opportunity for themselves. So great delivery and even a nice header just wide.
So it is the shoelaces actually, and what's going on here? Zach Thomas, those running repairs. So it looks like it might be a three-person job the way it's going at the moment.
Maybe he can't do his shoelaces up.
Get him some Velcro boots.
Yeah, those old slip-on ones.
Meanwhile, we throw in deep in defensive territory. It'll be Dunellen to take it. It's down now. Langlois back to Dunellen. He lobs it forward. Duncan takes it with a bit of space. Finn pressing though. Goes all the way back to Pearce. Thomas with time and space. Well-placed ball out in front of Reed Jones, but just a little too heavy in the end.
Yeah, I think Olympics midfield just has to work that bit harder, getting back on that ball. Really offer for their defenders. I think every pass they keep going backwards, just keep inviting that press on from Jaffas, and we know that they do that really well.
Now Lambton, Kirihara can't quite control it. Zervis brings it down. Reed Jones tries to win out, can't hang on to it. Cale gets to the outside, threads it through the legs of Thomas, but Duncan's there to clean up. Pearce pushes it forward. Langlois gets to it first. Zervis there in the pocket, heads it forward. Langlois again. Both sides just struggling to maintain it. Bond now with an opportunity. Oh, he comes off his own heel and loses it a little, gets a shot away and forces a good save. Pearce picks it out of the postage stamp and pushes it across the bar. Lambton certainly in the early stages here, Keena, having much the better of the opportunities.
Yeah, definitely so. I think they're doing well with their press, and their chances are coming from those turnovers in that back third from Olympic. So a bit more composure from them and make it a lot more difficult for Lambton to really break them down, really test them and make them use some skill and some actual strategy to get a goal. I think at the moment they're just those little turnovers that are causing them a grief.
Corner comes in, drifted to the back post. Topple Stanley was sneaking about, but Pearce up to it. McNaughton tries to block the attempted clearance. They get straight on the counter-attack, trying to use the pace of Bradbury. He gets to the outside. He's got a runner in the box in Muller. Can he find him? He can, but Muller's got his back to goal. Plays it off Zervis now. West. Wide now, Reed Jones. And he's looking to reset Olympic. Back to Thomas. Plays it wide, looking for Reed Jones. It's picked off. Denellen gets it. A little nudge on the way through just to slow things down, and the referee gives a foul.
Yeah, I think you just heard the Olympic coaching staff say there, a bit casual in their passing, and I think that's right. Well organised defensive structure like Jaffas, you're going to have to be a lot more intent with your ball speed and with your movement. So
I felt they had such a good opportunity to start there with the break from Bradbury and then Muller inside the box, but they couldn't just quite get the ball in place. Then all of a sudden it was Lambton coming back nice and composed with their defensive unit, which broke it up.
Yeah, you got to, like you said, backline of Jaffas is experienced, and with experience sometimes does come age and all its detrimental factors. So getting that ball in beyond early and really starting to utilise the pace that Olympic have might be crucial just to give yourself that space in the midfield to play.
Ben Hay has it taken away. Jimmy Oates showing all his prowess. Speaking of guys with plenty of experience, Oates well travelled with his time in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. And you see what that brings to the Jaffas side, especially in that front third. Across their whole sort of middle, back and front. Well versed in the game of football and how it should be played.
Oh, and who's well versed in their football is Kirihara. He's been electric since he's joined the Jaffas. Created some good opportunities. We're going to have another corner, a third corner for the Jaffas. They continue to try and press this advantage. If you're just tuning in and you didn't catch the reserve grade game earlier, it was Olympic running away 3-0 winners in the earlier fixture. You'll see that on the scoreboard. It sits behind Joey Langlois as he sets to take this corner. Of course, you're watching Northern New South Wales Football's YouTube channel. Every game of the NPL live and free. Langlois puts this one almost into orbit. Plenty of height on that. Headed down by Reed Jones. Kirihara gets underneath it and scuffs it. McNaughton tries on the follow-up, but they can't get a clean shot on target. Waller now takes, well, that might have been a shot, but it was just a lofted ball forward. Carl's had a couple of good opportunities himself. What can he do here? Just on the edge of the 18-yard box, pulls it back, lays it off for Denellen. Denellen crosses it well past the back post. It's headed in, beats a few. Nervous times if you're a fan of the blue here. Ball beats two there and sits up for Pearce. Again, a friendly bounce for the Olympic keeper. Thomas now working with Reed Jones. Jaffas tried to turn it down. Lovely touch from Bradbury. Reed Jones gets to the outside, plays it out in front of Muller. He loses his footing, but the flag goes up for offside. That was a little bit better. Something presented nicer from Olympic.
Much better, a bit more composure on that ball and some movement and third man runs that are coming off it and not sort of waiting on their teammates to actually make the pass first and then moving. They're a bit more proactive. Created that little chance.
Taves, 10 yards right. It's all right.
Norton just looking at using the time and space he's offered, plays it forward. Kale pushes it all the way back to central defensive Topple Stanley. Now they distribute wide on the left. Waller looking for an avenue. Doesn't present, so he goes backwards. Waller overhits that a little. McNaughton has to retreat. Olympic just look like they're starting to settle into their defensive formation and just tighten things up a little here. Lambton happy to be patient for the time being. Kennedy to Bond, drives forward, overhits it. Waller can't reel it in.
And I think that's going to be key for Olympic today, is really sort of stifling Jaffas' attack. They're not overly creative like some of the other teams in the competition, so making sure that they sort of just hold them off and make sure they don't give away those cheap turnovers or lose the ball for no reason will probably limit Jaffas' options as they go forward and probably get the ball in much better field position.
For the time being, Jaffas take it back to the top of the goal box. Now, Topple Stanley plays it wide. Nothing presents for Waller. Feed it down the line. Waller will put the accelerators on. Topple Stanley running forward. Tries to feed it in. It's deflected, and then it falls back nicely for Pearce. Now they drive long and wide. Looking for Muller. Muller up against his opposite number in McNaughton. Can't control it, and it spills over the sideline. Again, a clear tactic from Olympic Canada, just trying to, when the Jaffas do push up forward, just trying to go on that quick counter and go long and try and burn the defence of Jaffas.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that was probably one of the key opportunities that it was well utilised. You had Nikolai probably made an overlapping run, left that back line manned down, so...
Zach Thomas has nearly sent that to Newcastle Olympics home ground at Darling Street. He's cleared that from a foot inside the line.
Toes, that's enough. I know, listen to me.
Finn. Thomas gets away with that one. All of a sudden they go on the counter. And Toby makes a run through the middle. Muller toes it forward, looking for West, and it's going to be a little bit too heavy.
Well played, unlucky.
Not sure what the thought was there. It was never going to be reeled in. Topple Stanley had the better line.
Don't call him back to mark him. It's not his man. It's your man. Stay inside.
Certainly plenty of ongoing animation and coaching out of the Olympic box. A very different atmospheres when you look at the technical area for Lambton, looking very relaxed and probably rightly so with how the run of the game's been so far.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've probably started the half as a better team going forward. They've had a few better chances. I think it's come from their defensive structure and pressure on the ball, getting those little cheap turnovers. Saying that the Olympics does have the ball and done the right things with it. They've also been quite dangerous. Had a few half chances there.
Bunbury just comes across with a challenge and pushes it across the sideline. So have a throw in from Denellen on halfway. Goes long, looking for Finn. Can't hit his toe. Bradbury lays it back. Reed Jones goes all the way back to Pearce, but Pearce has to slide across to retrieve it. And they try and release down the right of their attack. A little nudge on Toby, but they loft it forward, looking for Rodway. Kennedy out to the edge of the 18-yard box to pick it up.
A bit better from Olympic there, playing out from the back, really rotating that ball, giving themselves time for their fullbacks to give them that width. I think they've been a bit narrow at times, especially in that middle third. Comes with keeping the ball and giving your players that chance to actually get that width out, create those chances, split that back four of Jaffas, which is very consolidated, very tight.
Certainly nice and compressed, that back four, and they're trying to work their ways around them here to create the opportunities and use their pace. They thread it into the box looking for Muller, but Topple Stanley is there. Now all of a sudden, a sliding challenge takes the ball away from Oates. It's a feisty battle this one between Oates and Toby. The referee is letting it go a little. Has decided he needs to intervene now after they ended up hugging each other on the ground.
Yeah, I think that was an unfortunate one. I think both players were a bit cold. He needed to get warm, but I thought he was going to play the advantage there. Both players were at each other, probably a fair challenge.
I think it's one of those ones as a referee, they're sort of expected once, you know, both players end up on the ground and the play is properly disrupted. They've got to kind of make a decision, but again, to the credit, and we've seen it throughout the season, the last few games that you and I have called, that, you know, these referees are doing their utmost to allow the football to do the talking and not have to over-officiate the games.
Yeah, definitely. I think the officiating has been wonderful in the last few matches that we have actually officiated. They're done really well of just letting the flow of the football do its thing and pull it up where needed and where there was any unsafe.
Langlois slicing through the defence. I thought he's going to make it all the way through there the way he's going. He's managed to get the ball back. Lays it out now for Oates. Cross, I was going to say into the box, but cross onto the hill at the back of the southern end of Arthur Eden Oval.
Yeah, the wind's picked up a little bit. I'm not sure if that's had anything to do with some of these crosses from that side of the field.
It's gusting a little, isn't it? It's sort of been almost not noticeable at one moment, and then it'll pick up and really starting to get a bit of weight behind it at the moment.
I think the Jaffas' last few corners did the same thing, really held up in the wind. Thought it was maybe just design. Possibly not. Might the conditions playing a factor today.
Pierce sends everyone along, goes for the clearing goal kick. Topple Stanley rises above the pack to take it. Kirihara. Langlois lofts it forward. Finn looking to win out. Thomas's height takes it though. Duncan plays it off. Rodway races down the right wing before laying it out for Toby. Slicing around the defender, crosses it into the box. Hay gets a shot away, but it's over the crossbar. That's much more promising from Olympic.
Yeah, much better from Olympic, and I actually think it comes from their directness there. They don't worry about playing out for the last couple of minutes and just going a bit more direct, really testing Jaffas, picking up that second ball in a much better field position. I think they started off early trying to play out, move the ball. Might not be ideal right at the start. Now Jaffas are starting to settle in a bit into their game as well, which is similar. So teams taking that direct approach and picking up that second or third ball in the midfield, really starting their attack from there.
Really feels like it's developing into a contest, this one. 3 crucial points on the line as we get to almost a third of the way through the season in round 7. Kennedy finds Denellen. Dan Hay blocks it with his chest. Bradbury lays it back west. He's got options wide, but he drops back to defence. Duncan pushing it out now in front of Rodway. Rodway's going to try and cross it in. Again, the defensive wall that is Nikolai Topple-Stanley's there to break it up. Waller and Kirihara combine. Kirihara just pulling it up, feeding it forward. Now they switch the play. Denellen does well with a quick turn. Bradbury racing across to shut him down. McNaughton just working it around now. Jaffas not in a hurry, trying to stay composed. A little light contact takes McNaughton down. That one looking for Oates, but a little too heavy, and Pierce is there to pick it up.
Yeah, I'd just like to see probably a bit more positivity from both sides there. Olympic in some good field position and sort of always inclined to move the ball and go backwards.
Nervous moment there. Distribution out from the back, not exactly what they wanted, but they get away with it again. Olympic. Reed Jones up against Cale. He gets it forward. Looking for Finn, puts his body on the line. The former Olympic player. Now Cale out in front of Finn again. Again, just well shepherded there this time by Olympic, and Pierce again, nice and composed taking it.
I think some better decision making, just playing out from the back for Olympic will serve them better, but keeping that ball. They're in some good positions, like KO there in between the lines.
Muller does well here to get body position and takes it away. The assistant referee says he was on the wrong side of the offside line.
Inside Jared, Benny.
Some of those direct balls that were good, they sort of entice the defence to know that there's a threat in beyond. If you start playing balls always to feed, always in front, or the team keeps playing backwards, then you sort of know as a defender that you can always keep stepping up and there's nothing really coming in behind you. So making sure that every now and then you do turn them around, and then it's recognising the right moments when to do that. Players are either high and wide or just in line with their defence.
That's always the piece, isn't it? It's not always about the actual outcome of that individual play. It's sometimes about what it sets up for the next play or the play after that.
Yeah, I think so, and that's a big thing these days with the way coaching and football has developed in Australia, where we're moved a lot into skills and technique and whatnot, but there's so much more to football than just that. It's learning how to play the game, how to move, when to move, recognising the certain things and formations.
It's certainly becoming a much more educated and technical game, I think, in Australian football as we go along, which is a good thing, and it's why we're seeing so many of these youngsters make their way from the A-Leagues and the academies here over to play in Europe, which we sort of had that lull for a little while there.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're all going over there a lot more technically aware and more skillful, but we're going over there and we're actually learning still a lot more in the way tactics and how they play. Like, there's so much in football now, different cultures and how they play. Actual football is very different, so, and learning which way is the best way for each game, and different tactics require different formations and whatnot. So
Beautiful ball here now. Muller sets Bradbury free. He's away on the edge of the 18-yard box. Going to look for Toby in the box, but he overshoots it. Not completely done yet. Ben Hayes going to race across and try and keep it in. He does so. Feeds it in now. Finds Toby. He plays it into Zervis. Zervis goes to ground. Denellen gets a head in. Toby up for it. West heads it into the box. The referee happy to let the boys play at the moment. Kirihara heads it back. Topple Stanley, the epitome of composure, deals it in the end.
That was great play from Olympic there. Much better movement off the ball, and it shows just what a little bit of composure in the back line on the ball, facing forward, does do for your team.
Out wide from Bond, just a little too heavy for Waller.
I think the key for Olympic will also be when they do have that ball in that front third is making sure that they do lock them in, not let them out, even though you have the ball. Making sure you're aware that you keep players up and pressure up even when they don't have the ball, because you know that next turnover will be in within like 1 or 2 metres of you, instead of running back and giving them time to face forward and attack.
Referee's just sending Rob Way.
He took about 10 metres there, I think.
Yeah, even though he's thrown it backwards, the referee says, no, you've still got to go back and throw it from the right position to start with. Well, the referee sent him back about 15. And then he runs forward another 7 anyway. I always love that. It's a wonderful game of football, isn't it?
Ah, it's beautiful. On a wonderful day like today.
Where else would you rather be on a wonderful autumn afternoon than either here at Arthur Eden Oval or tuned in watching Northern New South Wales Football's YouTube, where you can watch every NPL first and reserve grade men's and women's game free throughout the season.
It's the one we can't get out now.
Kennedy. Again, you can see, just happy to take his time, wait for something to present. Sliced it off the outside of the right, finds Denellen. Experience of Bradbury up to the cutback from Denellen. Lambton do get the throw. Kale. Duncan, both of them lost track of where the ball had spilled out to, but now it spills nicely for Toby. He toes it forward looking for Muller. McNaughton appeals for offside and the flag goes up.
He's been offside all day today. Well,
I think we called him a couple of weeks ago and he had a lot of, against Valentine in a night game. He had a lot of trouble as well, just timing the runs and getting the positioning quite right. But he ended up getting there late in the game and getting their third goal, if memory serves.
Yeah, I think he might be confused. He thinks BK is one of the linesmen. Not sure where the line is.
That's that red jersey again, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
He looks like a linesman or a magic outfielder. All threaded now. Ben Hay, dispossessed by Langlois. Zervis somehow manages to outmuscle and outbody the much bigger man. Muller and Hay throwing themselves in, take it away from McNaughton, but it falls friendly for Kirihara. He fakes out 2 players. Duncan slides in, gets his boots to the ball, doesn't completely deal with it though. Oates for Kirihara now, cuts into the box, takes a shot. Broken up, takes another shot, just wide. Adam Pearce was stuck in the mud, but it pushed wide of the right post. And it remains 0-0 here at Arthur Eden Oval. Almost half an hour gone in his round 7 NPL men's clash.
Yeah, quite fortunate there with where the ball fell, but very unlucky to have not scored, I think. I think Olympics done pretty well with finding some players between the lines. They're just failing to follow it up with that next midfielder moving past. They break the line. Next player sort of just waiting instead of progressing through and picking up that ball, being able to really attack the Jaffas back line.
Throw in this time Lambton's way. Donovan up and moving about. He looks a bit more fluid when he's running than when he's walking.
He does, doesn't he? He's got beautiful straight posture. Must be.
We're a bit concerned before we saw him walking around. He looked a little stiff, but he might just be slowly warming into the day. Not sure whether that's that back or just age, mate. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It is only 2 o'clock. You know, most people don't get moving until 3.
Second half specialist Roy Donovan. You've heard it from Ben Kianarowski. Ball lofted forward, looking for Kale. Broken up though. Now Bradbury. As well, beats Kale, cuts back away from Denellen.
And this is the key here for Olympic, like where they go from here and how they move the ball, determine how impactful they will be going forward. They really rotate that ball a bit faster.
Got space. Reed Jones making a run wide. He's got space. Decides to cross it immediately. McNaughton heads it away. Zervis sitting back, just lays it wide with the head. Zervis, the distributor, lays it out to Duncan. Duncan tries to feed it forward, but Langlois deflects it. Toby gets to it. Rodway pushes it back. Just looking to settle and structure again. Olympic nicely threaded wide down the right. The cross coming into the box, but beats the back post, lands on the edge of the 18-yard box and trickles away for a throw in, and that'll be a disappointing end to what was looking like a positive attacking raid for Olympic.
Yeah, I think so. They started quite positively, and then as soon as they sort of rotate, the lack of ideas, lack of creation after that, I think comes from their movement off the ball. Move the ball left to right a bit. Do create that opportunity, but then it becomes down to the intent.
Wasn't a lot in that, but Finn ends up on the ground. The referee almost looked reluctant to blow it, but there was enough there that he needed to.
Yeah, I think he knew it was coming, sort of played for it a bit.
St. Helens. Carl Bradbury tries to convince the referee that the ball was 5 metres further forward than it needed to be. Now Waller working down the sideline, thinks better of it, plays it back for Topple Stanley. Oates back to Topple Stanley. Topple Stanley picks out a blue jersey amongst yellow. Now he advances forward. Toby on the turn. Plays it across. Thomas coming forward. Working the ball around better now, Olympic. They've got space here through Reed Jones. Crossed it and tried to switch the play, but again broken up by the solid defence of the Jaffas. Kirihara under a lot of attention from Toby, and was always going to go that way if Kirihara didn't come away with the ball.
Yeah, I think so. Bit of an unnecessary foul there. They sort of had the numbers around, really applying pressure.
Kirihara just coming at it. Didn't look like a lot of contact, but just a little bit of a hobble, so we'll keep an eye on that. He's that sort of one really key creative focus, you feel, for Lambton in the middle of midfield.
Yeah, I think he's key for him in creating those little passes and chance creations in that front third, especially against Olympic. He's sort of sitting back a bit, really testing Jaffas' creativity.
Topple Stanley sends it for Cahill. Reed Jones pushes wide to follow him. Bradbury slots into to block the attacking route. Langlois threads it through. Bond, Kirihara. Kirihara tries to play for the foul, but goes to ground and loses out. Waller gets a boot in. West comes away. The second one from McNaughton is not going to be advantage, and it's not going to be let go.
That was an unforgiving challenge, wasn't it?
West had done well to get through the first challenge, and it was a touch and go, but then McNaughton come flying in, and away from the referee. Possibly just asking if getting that question here from the Olympic dugout, whether that was a card, but referee happy just to take a moment, let everyone get a breath and cool their jets.
Yeah, I think so. I think that wasn't too much in it for a card, but if I was the opposition team, I'd probably yell just the same.
You can always ask the question as long as you do it the right way, right? We know, there's zero tolerance for abuse, but again, that was just a politely framed question. Never hurts to plant the right seed.
No, if you don't ask, you
shot
won't
from
receive.
Olympic, gets a couple of deflections on his way through, and Kennedy bends down and just picks it up leisurely from his toes. Almost as leisurely, throws it out in front of Ryan McNaughton. Muller working overtime, and they're just toying with him here. Crossed across the face of goal. That was an interesting option. Topple Stanley gets there, though.
On his right foot, too. Haven't seen that much in his career.
Kirihara pushing forward. Gets a little bit of a clip. Not a lot in it. Duncan had just planted that front leg, and Kirihara tumbled over it.
What's different to what Ranger done up here? Yeah.
Some nice conversations going on between the two technical areas. The guys have a bit of fun with it.
Both same challenges within the space of 2 minutes, so probably good officiating.
Hale goes to ground here. Looked like he was trying to body position. McNaughton and Muller holding each other, and again the referee just happy if both of them want to give as good as they're getting, just to let them go on with it.
RJ outside ya. Kale, 2 out of ya.
Good man management Football Stanley feeds it into the midfield. Now they thread it wide. Denellen open on the edge of the box. They take a shot. Kale would have loved to have had a little bit more power on that. It didn't really test Pearce.
Yeah, he really needed to do better there with that opportunity. Good play from Jaffas, really moving that ball on the ground. Nice, good passing. Created that chance. Just that finish.
As we head deep into the first half, you feel Olympic. If they could get one here against probably the flow of the first half, it would be a huge momentum swing. Bradbury wide on the edge of the 18-yard box. A little step over, cuts back, lofts it up. Muller, can he get the friendly bounce? Not yet. Poked away, not completely dealt with. Deflected again, and it comes out the way of Matt Cale. And he'll take it away for the time being. Denellen. Back to McNaughton. Plenty of time and space. And he's using that right boot to push it across again. Out in front of Waller. Another of those experienced 100-plus game players in the NPL.
And Jaffas just happy to be patient, move the ball, sort of wait for their opportunity for that pass between the lines or the long ball as we see there.
Topple Stanley lofts it. Oh, it must have only just crossed the line. Cale did well to try and keep it in. Olympic will go with the throw as we head into the last 5 or 6 minutes of this first half. Evenly poised. Can someone grab the momentum before we head to the sheds? It's pushed off Lambton and it'll be an Olympic throw. Assistant referee went the other way first. The referee saying no, definitely an Olympic throw, and he's got that right. The throw, looking for Muller. Ben Hay does well with a nice little touch. The second touch not as clean. And now Bond sets Waller free down the left. He takes it on. Thinks about going to the outside of West. Decides better of it. Calls for a runner and drops it back. As the avenues to goal tighten through the midfield. Langlois has a little space in front of him. Threads it forward. Now looking for Kirihara there from Finn. Norton and Muller. This has been a good battle. Norton has to turn back and lay it off for Kennedy. Kennedy directs his centre-backs to hold their width.
And that's going to be the test, I think, for Jaffas, even with their experience as the game progresses. They're going to really throw those numbers forward. Sort of both teams have that defensive discipline that they will leave themselves isolated at the back. Probably be the teams that makes the most use of that as they go into the later stages of the game.
Langlois has been busy in midfield, distributes it nicely out in front of Denellen. Denellen pushes it forward looking for Cale, but intercepted and picked off. Now Reed Jones. A little bit of miscommunication there to Reed Jones and Bradbury on different pages. You can see what they both wanted to do there, but just they landed somewhere in between. Kirihara can't win out. West comes away, beats it to the outside, can't control it with the second touch, and loses it over the sideline just in front of the Olympic technical area. Denellen happy to drop it all the way back to Riley McNaughton. Cross in front of an ultra experienced Ben Kennedy. And you can see whenever the ball comes to the feet of Kennedy or the man that he's laying it off to here, Top or Stanley, they're both happy to be as composed as need be and take their time and just wait for things to present. Oates with a pivot, laying it out wide for Waller now. Waller down the left flank, crosses it in early. Thomas is there though. Bisects the two. And a shot off the post from range, Jimmy Oates.
Nice little strike there, the pick up, the second ball.
He almost caught Pearce napping.
Yeah.
An inch or two to the right, and that goes into the bottom corner.
I think the decision to sort of flick a defensive clearance around the corner there might have left everyone on the bench in with a heart attack.
Well, we've heard that word a couple of times from the bench here, that casual word, and that epitomised it.
I think so, especially in the way that they've come out in this first half. Definitely. Just their ability to move the ball forward when they have
Jones
to.
looking for Bradbury, just a touch too heavy.
That defensive setup, the intensity, movement. Especially with that back line, as we spoke about, with so much experience, even their midfield, and even up to their front line with the Jaffas. You can't go around with that casual mentality. You do need to move that ball, movement, physically, everything with a bit more intent.
One thing you'd have to think, especially with this being a warmer afternoon, if you're Olympic, continuing to try and use that pace in behind of Bradbury when you've got, you know, no deference to, as Pearce comes out and takes at the top of the 18-yard box, no, you know, insult to either Nikolai Top or Stanley or Riley McNaughton, but neither of them are on the lower half of the age bracket of the players out there. Top are at 40, McNaughton at 34.
So they're old.
Not exactly the word I was using. I was going with experience, but, you know...
Ageism is a thing these days. You can't say that, Chris.
Oh,
I can, but they're very old. So I'd be kicking it in beyond as well, actually.
I don't know if either of us can... We can both call Topper old, but I don't think we can call Riley old, because well, he's certainly younger than me.
Well, Riley went to school with me, so...
So that's calling yourself old as well?
Okay,
fair enough. So. We'll own that we're old, so that we can dish it on them.
It's not ageist if it's the truth.
Yeah, it's a statistical number. As we see Nathan Toby just slip, but yeah, as I was saying, you know, he's certainly looking in Kale, that pace that he has. I'm sure he'll be looking to sniff in and around behind there as the game gets on and fatigue starts to become a factor here.
Yeah, definitely. Even if they weren't old and they were of their younger selves, I'd be still kicking it in beyond. It does create that dynamic to the game where...
Bradbury takes his on at the end of the 18-yard box. Come back to him in a moment there. Threads it in, pushes it across the face. Beats an advancing Muller. That looked the best of the opportunities so far for Olympic.
I think so. It was a good ball. Just those runs into the box. I think just that near post run, and that was probably the only player in the box, to be fair. The rest of them sort of either all stood out back or waiting for that second phase.
Right around the advance now, and you can see as the half's worn on, that defensive unit of Jaffas just compressed a little, and it's created that bit of space on the outside of the box. As Zervis tries to wrap himself around Archie Finn to come away with it. Hay lays it off. Zervis pokes it forward. Denellen snatches it away.
Yeah, you see how deep Jaffas are there. If you're Olympic, you just want to create that width, give them that bit more opportunity for your players. Move that ball.
You want to switch, RJ?
Zervis plays it across. Reed Jones drops it off. Zervis back again. Just happy to exchange the passes.
Other way, good. Early. Westy, want it.
Thomas. West back to Duncan. Zervis trying to play it around Langlois. Feeds it onto the edge of the box with Bradbury. Crosses it in where it takes a deflection and goes across for a second corner for Newcastle Olympic.
Much better from Olympic there, moving that ball, keeping it side to side, giving their players up front. Someone like Kale makes those lovely runs off the shoulder. Quite sharp around the box. He only needs that half yard to get the cross in or get the shot off. And you get someone like Benny Hay who picks up the second ball from outside the box. Even BK might not stop that.
Just getting confirmation from the fourth official, 1 minute of added time. And not long here. If Olympic could snatch one here, that would be a huge momentum shifter going into the break. You feel it is starting to drive forward late in this half and create some chances. Kennedy just does well, loses his footing as he clears it away, but it palmed to the feet of McNaughton. Feeds it forward to Kirihara. Kirihara feels a tiny bit of contact, decides to go to ground, hoping for a free kick. Doesn't get it. The referee continues to play on, and it's pushed out over the sideline from Olympic. Jimmy Oates having a running discussion with the referee about it, and the referee clearly signalled no, he just face planted himself.
Yeah, it's good refereeing, I guess. He let the game go, even though could have, should have, would have been a foul. Doesn't matter.
I think at the end of the day, there's always going to be a little bit of contact here, and yeah, it doesn't matter. You've played the game at a high level. There's always going to be a bit of contact when you're trying to go forward, and every bit of contact gets pulled up. We're not going to get a whole lot of football developing, are we?
No, if there's no contact, we'll be playing netball.
Exactly right. Thomas now. Reed Jones making a run. Thomas decides to go back the other way. Lays it off for Duncan.
Good composure from Duncan there. All it does is create them with a great opportunity now, I think.
Dying stages of this first half. Still tied at 0-0. Rodway, a nice run. Gets closed out of his lane, though, eventually. And Lambton happy just to clear it over the sideline. And the board goes up with 1 minute of added time.
Much better composure there at the back from Olympic. See what happens when they keep that ball, move the ball, create that overload on one side, or at least give themselves an opportunity to get down the line, utilise some of their attacking prowess.
Inside the last 40 seconds or so here, Archie Finn, can he go the length? He toe pokes it wide out in front of Kale. A little deflection from Reed Jones. Did enough just to see it over the sideline. You feel that This might be the last chances. Lambton looked to go forward. Denellen takes the throw. Again, headed over the sideline, deep in attacking territory by Reed Jones. Denellen has Langlois back here, the former Olympic man, looking for options. And he's split the difference between Kennedy and Topple Stanley. So Kennedy's going to have to roll out and get this. They're going to have to transition it downfield pretty quickly if they want to do anything here, Lambton. Otherwise, we'll be going to the sheds at 0-0. The referee checks his watch. And that will see us head to the break here. All tied up. No goals yet. Both sides with opportunities. Across that first half, though, Kenna, Lambton, you would have to say, have had the better of the opportunities, although Olympic finished the half a little better.
Yeah, I think so. I'd say Olympic probably created their chances a lot better, and they were a lot fewer than Lambton's, but Lambton's just sort of come off that second ball transition, and they obviously didn't create too much, but they pick up that second ball and attack from there, and that's their level of creation when they move forward. So it'll be a test to see how the second half goes. The more composed and the way that Olympic keep the ball will probably limit the opportunities that Jaffas get, I think. And as the game fatigues, that's obviously probably going to actually get a lot more. And they might get more of those opportunities. So it'll be critical that Olympic work on that as hard as they can. For Jaffas, I think it would just be a matter of making sure they pick up those second balls.
You can find football almost everywhere you look. It's not just on a pitch on a Saturday. Football is ingrained in our communities and our lives. Football is friendship, fitness, connection, passion, joy, despair, and the love of the game. From Newcastle Permanent Community Football and our Coles Mini Roos to our NPL competitions and the A-Leagues. On the beach, at school, at the park, in the backyard, or on the pitch, football is everywhere in northern New South Wales.
Football is Newcastle, Mid-North Coast,
Lake Macquarie,
it's Cobbs Harbour, the Hunter Valley,
the Northern Inland,
the Far North Coast,
and everywhere in between. No matter who you are, there's a place for you to play football with us. Registrations for the 2025 season are open now. Search Northern New South Wales Football to find your club and join our team, because
football
is everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere. It's everywhere. Football is everywhere.
Because football is everywhere in northern New South Wales.
Oh yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good. yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good.
No matter who you are, there's a place for you to play football with us. Registrations for the 2025 season are open now.
Football is
everywhere! It's everywhere!
On the beach, at school, at the park, in the backyard or on the pitch, football is everywhere in northern New South Wales.
Football is Newcastle.
Lake Macquarie.
The Hunter Valley!
Search Northern New South Wales Football to find your club and join our team, because football is everywhere in northern New South Wales.
number on the back of their shirt.
It's not far away.
Not far away. You don't see them any high squad numbers and ages.
I was going to say, for most of the players, it's normally pretty easy. Most of them have well exceeded it before they got to seniors.
They have, unless they act like big babies. Then you got Ben, who's representative of his shirt number.
It's a nice little chat at half-time between you and former teammate Roy O'Donovan, having a chat through about comparing notes on some injuries.
Yeah,
it looks like he's starting to move reasonably well, and we know he's on the bench there.
He did
he's
say
good for a bit of a run.
That little warm-up takes a while, so he's been here for 2 days, and hopefully see him out there soon.
Yeah, if it gets any worse, we'll just have to leave him at a ground on a Saturday so that he's ready for the next week.
Yeah, hopefully they all play at Jaffas.
Outside's getting set. Doesn't look like any changes. Jared Muller just having a nice little chat with the referee.
I think he's trying to teach him the offside rule.
Jared's just saying, I'm just quick. just too quick, sir. Just too quick.
Because I keep seeing BKing goals and he keeps waving his flag.
That's always the line for the strikers, isn't it? I wasn't offside. I'm just quicker than you realise.
Yeah, he's quicker than his teammates too. Hello.
You can find football almost everywhere you look. It's not just on a pitch on a Saturday. Football is ingrained in our communities and our lives. Football is friendship, fitness, connection, passion, joy, despair, and the love of the game.
Tell you what, Kenny, you'd be glad you're not out there. That sun that's now hitting us on the back has certainly got some bite in it. The air temperature's not too hot, but the sun's got some...
It definitely does. I think I'll be going through a few bottles of banana boat with my current hairstyle.
The thing out there is the majority of players, maybe Riley McNaughton accepted of are pretty all right on that scale. Nathan Toby, who's just in front of us, is certainly well and truly covered on that. He's just covering the neck and all.
Yeah, I think so. Would it be nice playing in that midfield role today? I think it's really have an effect, especially the later stage of this game.
There he is, Nathan Toby. Check the football, are we? No, he's okay with that. I'm not sure what's going on there. Someone's asked it. Zach Thomas is upset with the football. I thought that was more of a striker's dilemma, the awkward bounce of the ball. It's because the ball's not perfectly round or not pumped up enough.
Oh, when you hit it when you're a defender, it slaps you in the face.
True.
It really hurts. Depends how you do head the ball though. Some people use their foreheads, some use their face.
Rodri. Yeah, I think the latter rather than the former is probably the advice technique. I was never one for doing it, so I'll take your advice on that.
Well, I've had coaches that say as long as it goes in, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's true. What do they say? They don't draw pictures on the scoreboard. Doesn't matter how the goal comes about.
Haven't heard that one before.
I think it's an old cricket adage, really, that I've repurposed, and they say, they don't draw pictures in the score sheet, in the scorebook.
You're allowed to do that in cricket, though. It's quite a slow sport.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not sitting here trying to commentate a full day of cricket. We'd have to be coming up with a lot more stories, and you and I might get ourselves in trouble with taking too many pot shots at some people, I think.
And a lot more shade.
Yeah, we definitely need a lot more shade.
Oh.
A lot more shade and a lot of sunscreen. A little bit of challenge there, and Archie Finn might have got himself an Oscar with some of that rolling after the fact. Topple Stanley just having to shepherd this one across the line. He's in that frame. Throws it in for McNaughton. Oates calls for it. A little straighter than he might have liked, and it'll sit up nicely for the keeper in Pearce.
Yeah, Jaffas has already come out a little bit more direct in the start of the second half. A few long balls quite early.
And can't be controlled for Olympic, goes across the sideline. We'll have a throw in for the Jaffas. Interesting to see how the two teams, as we touch on with the heat and the game in the balance, how they utilise their benches. Some very capable players on both sides. So
yeah, we'll see, I think, just how this early stages of the second half does progress. A bit more intent from both sides, trying to get a goal. Might increase the likelihood of that turn into the bench.
Headed across the sideline by West. Threaded forward now, looking for a run from Finn. Thomas does well just to use his body to shepherd the ball. Of course, as always, you can catch all the NPL men's and women's action across the weekend and the season here on Northern New South Wales YouTube channel. If you're looking for some more football action after this one completes this afternoon, you've got some options. Valentine hosting Charlestown at Crowders Bay. And that attacking rate is broken up at 4:30, and at the same time, Bell Swans will be hosting Western at Blacksmiths. Then tomorrow we've got New Lambton at Cooks Hill at 2 o'clock into Maitland Edgeworth at 4:30. Plenty of cracking encounters to wrap round 7, and then we've got games Tuesday and Wednesday night as well, catch-up games from last weekend's washout. So lots of soccer across the next 3 or 4 days for you, or football if you prefer. Get myself in trouble calling it soccer, Keena.
You get yourself in trouble yet? I do it sort of unconsciously sometimes, and I have to pull myself up, but I think in Australia we're a bit lucky where most people sort of
accept either.
Accept either, yeah. They won't crucify you if it's one or the other.
Sure, I think the die-hard, dyed-in-the-wool football fans will get up and about a little bit about it, but
yeah, I think it all went out when they removed all the cultural names and all the background that was involved with that whole saga. To see that back.
The irony that it used to be the NSL, the National Soccer League, when those teams were in. That's a little ironic, but anyway.
The irony cuts deep there.
The football is in a great spot now. We've got some of those cultural ties back. We've got, obviously, the National Championship coming as well, which will see some of those wonderful clubs with some of those cultural ties, the opportunity to play in what will become a national second tier. As Olympic now with an opportunity as they go forward. Muller, he stayed onside this time, gets inside McNaughton. Can he get a shot away? Slices in. McNaughton just shepherds it back to Kennedy. Some good movement there from Muller, but he just couldn't finish.
Yeah, much better there. Stayed onside for starters, but then the intent and aggression to really drive Riley there and try and create that half chance for a shot. I think he did have a chance, probably did take it for a bit too long or could have released it. But good signs for Olympic.
Certainly is. Langlois tries to send that one forward looking for Carl and ends up clearing the sideline and the assistant referee. Now they take the throw Olympic. He's forward for Muller again. Drops it back, popping the ball over, looking for Bradbury, but Denellen gets ahead to it. Norton's clearance doesn't go far. It goes a long way in the air. Almost picks out that single wire hanging across Red and Oval. Beautiful work now. Threaded forward. Oates, nice little work to get to the outside, but Zervis, the pocket rocket, takes off and takes it away. Oates muscles him out and sends it back for Waller. Top of Stanley with time and space. Bond finds McNaughton. Langlois trying to make a little run here. Let's go wide for Waller. Waller. Top of Stanley. Lambton just trying to find an opening.
Yeah, Olympic doing well, I think, just to limit their chances.
On now.
Try and consolidate that back line, give them the opportunity to play between the lines.
Play it wide. Denellen pushing up, feeds it in. Thomas does well. Reads the pass, intercepts it, and sends it downfield.
And I think that's the big key there for the second half for Olympic, is keeping that ball and retention from...
Bradbury can't quite get that one. He's not happy either.
From the transition, no, he's struck a little tantrum, hasn't he?
The great thing with Carl Bradbury is you're never left wondering what he's thinking, even from 80 metres away.
Yeah, he does wear his heart on his sleeve, and it's there for everyone to see, but...
He's been in good form. He's got 5 goals already this season, and I think he'd love to score against his old team here.
I think he just loves to score regardless. Doesn't matter what team it is. Yeah. As most strikers do.
Do you think it's a little extra sweet, though, up against a side that you spent so long with?
Oh, as a person that didn't score many goals, any goal was extra sweet.
This is true. This is true. Maybe I have to ask a striker. I'll ask Tara Andrews next time I'm commentating with her, because, mate, she's absolutely scoring bags in the Women's League. I think she got 5 last week. Yeah,
I saw that. I think so. I should probably tell you that they all taste the same.
That'll be about your tally for your A-League career, is it? Or?
Oh, that's harsh.
I mean, you're a midfielder, though, you know, by trade. Not expected. Your primary role wasn't just scoring goals.
No, you're right, but still.
So people haven't scored a lot of goals, but he'll tell you about that one that he scored from nearly halfway, Nikolai Topol-Stanley.
He texts me every night about it, actually.
I reckon that goal's got about 50,000 to 100,000 views on YouTube, and 30% of them might be Top Boy just watching it back or sending it to other people to watch.
I think so.
And fair enough, too. I remember
it was his screensaver for a while.
I remember seeing that one live in person. It was an absolute belt to that one. Threaded forward, Waller creates a chance here. Langlois off the outside of the boot. Pierce diving.
Toe poke or outside of the boot?
The outside of the toe.
Either way would have been impressive. I think the toe poke goal would have probably impressed me more because that ball goes anywhere when you do a toe poke.
Yeah, toe poke is sort of a bit of a lottery, isn't it? Because not only does it go anywhere for you, it's anywhere for the keeper, so they've got to try and guess. As Oates slides in, Zervis bounces out with it. Now they just settle things down. Duncan plays it forward. Rodway down the right. Toby trying to create a lane. Play it in for the midfield for Hay. Can't quite get it on a string. Denellen does well out in front of Carl.
Zerby right shoulder, Zerby right shoulder. Two here, Zerby. Zerby, start.
Kirihara screaming for the ball on the left. They go to the right instead. Denellen pulls it up just inside the sideline. There's a pull back for Carl, who does well. Bisects the two defenders, but can't control the football. Not completely dealt with, though. Denellen feeds it to the top of the box. Bond turns to his right. If he had to turn to his left, he might have been open. Muller. Bradbury, his pass is broken up and turned over. Now Bond sends it wide. Now Kirihara belatedly gets the ball he's asking for. And cuts to the outside. A little boot in from Rodway. Gets a little shove. Referee's just going to give the throw.
Hasn't he? Yeah.
I think Kirihara might have done himself dirty a little bit earlier with those couple of ones where he went to the ground easily, and so the referee's now not giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones. I think we spoke about it one of the other games where the advantage is still there. There's flow of the game is disrupted a bit.
And someone who's officiated some other sports, not football, it certainly can play on your mind if you've got, it's the boy who cries wolf sometimes. Too, if you've got a player that goes to ground a little bit easily or comes out of contact the wrong way and trying to milk those decisions, or that's your view, then sometimes then when there is one that's 50-50, subconsciously you end up deciding against them. So it may have even
definitely,
been the case.
and the referees are aware of that, and they practice and train for that. I think there's some of the top referees even get to know the players and the skills and how they play the game.
Tendencies.
Exactly right. Some players have the shorter fuses, so they sometimes understand that, and it's not personal. Other ones just don't know how to talk nicely.
Free kick goes dangerous into the box, not cleared yet. Topple, Stanley gets ahead to it. Zervis sends it down. Waller, you can see he's thinking about winding up there, didn't. Just brought it to ground instead, and now Muller gets a little nudge from McNaughton. Manages to hang on to it.
Play the ball!
A play down on the deck for Jaffas. And Pierce just casually rolls it out in front of Duncan. It was Archie Finn. He's back on his feet. Carl heads it down to his own advantage, but doesn't take it away. West comes and gets it. Both sides just getting a little bit sloppy as a bit of fatigue sets in early in this second half.
Yeah, very sloppy there, I think, from both sides. Both teams need to just get their foot on the ball, take a breath, reset.
I feel as the game heats up, the temperature keeping warm, that everyone's got their heart on their sleeve a little. Ball spills wide for Rodway here. What can he conjure? Up against Waller, and he just gets a boot in, and we'll see the first corner of the second half.
There are those chances there for someone like Benny Hay on the outside of the box. Those little turnovers, little ball rolling across. He loves those opportunities.
Goes high and deep. Almost finds Duncan at the back. Bradbury sniffing around the top corner of the box. Topple Stanley clears it away with a header. Archie Finn finds himself on the ground, not the first time today. Reed Jones and Zervis sitting deep and exchanging passes.
And he's biding their time.
Kirihara gets to the outside of Zervis. Can he get the pass into Oates? Kirihara, a little nudge in the back. He probably sitting there questioning, saying that was no worse than the one that I got nudged before, but as we talked about.
Yeah, they're those ones, I think, like you said, play on the players' minds, feel like they've been hard done by, and then cause them to lash out, probably in a good position where maybe unnecessary in that instance, and coughs up a little bit of good field position for his team.
Yeah, it looks like maybe some final words after a warm-up here for a change, maybe for Olympic, as West goes to ground and ball comes away. And the referee had the whistle in his mouth, decides better of it. Nathan Toby. The Knights aren't playing over at, sorry, the West aren't playing over at Harker Oval here. He would have fitted in nicely there with that sort of tackle.
That was a great grab, wasn't it?
We're going to have a yellow card here for Toby, I think. Looks like the referee's having a chat, and he's got the card in his hand. There it is, brandished for Nathan Toby.
I don't know, I think he had his warm-up shirt on. Thought I saw a yellow shirt, thought he'd stolen it.
Second yellow of the year for Nathan Toby. Made it nice and clear, at least. Nice and easy decision for the referee. It's nice when they think of the officials like that, just make it nice and clear cut.
Yeah, I think so. It makes it a lot easier on them. Not much thought needed behind that one.
And saying just before that, looks like we might have a change getting ready here for Olympic. In the meantime, Waller will have a free kick for Jaffas.
I think Reese has just started to warm up, and Roy's been at it for 45.
Marcus!
Get up for the header is Carl again. Second time he's had a chance to get the headed shot on goal, this time off target. Can't bring it down.
Yeah, those set pieces are tough. Those ones are very central and a bit high. Make the angle for delivery quite difficult. Ball's got to be right on a dime there, create a good chance.
Long ball from Duncan looking for Toby. Waller turns it back. A moment of hesitation as it identify where it's going. Finn screaming for the ball long, and that's where they go. Ends up in a lot of blue shirt traffic. They can't come away with it. Ball deflected by Zervis there as he turned away. Falls back for Duncan. Now Thomas. Thomas with work to do. Sends it wide. Reed James decides to go back to the man who delivered it to him. Finn in pursuit. Carl blocks it and sends it across the sideline. Instead, it's actually going to be Jaffas with the first changes. Lockie Griffiths and Riley Taylor, it looks like. And Reese Cooper at the same time. Sounds like if I overheard that right, there might be Ben Hay making way. A direct swap for Cooper. Another foul, this time going the way of Olympic. Animated on the bench here for Olympic after that foul, and a bit of treatment here. Plenty of blood for West here just in front of us. He got cleaned up, and on his leg as well. Duncan will take the free. Double Stanley. West goes straight back on after he's been cleaned up. Toby prods it infield, and it's fired across the line by Bond. So no changes. They're ready to go here, both sides. The ball just trickles back to Ben Kennedy. And he'll take his time here. Picks it up after Muller advances. Now rolls it out in front of McNaughton. He's got plenty of open paddock in front of him, and he'll take it on. Heads down towards halfway before laying it out wide, looking for Sam Donnellan, who he finds. Donnellan puts it out in front of Cale. Duncan just picks it off his boots. Sends it down the line for Carl Bradbury. Bradbury gets a little clip and a foul. And we've got some changes here, and it will be Ben Hay coming off and Reece Cooper going on for Newcastle Olympic. Just looking to revitalise that creative spark. Archie Finn makes way, as does Jimmy Oates. As we said, it will be Riley Taylor and the former Olympic player in Lockie Griffiths coming on. See who can add the spark from their changes. In the meantime, though, Olympic go forward, looking for Rodway. It falls in between Rodway and Toby, and then it's hacked forward. Cooper gets his first touch. Thomas on the no-look volley back to the keeper. Kicks Pearce out nicely.
It did look wonderful, didn't it?
Sort of turn up front could be dangerous. And there off the set piece, just hitting one in on the bounce. In the meantime, though, West, I'm sure he's been cleaned up for that from that blood treatment. Duncan threads it forward. Muller finds himself almost sitting in midfield there. Bradbury up the top of the attack and turns it over. Kirihara versus Duncan. Tries to turn him inside out. Does come away with it, but has allowed them to retreat. Taylor advancing forward. Pearce is just going to shepherd this over the byline. And it will be a goal kick.
A bit better from Olympic there, playing that third man run.
Just decide to play it out from the back. Pearce to Thomas. Spills wide for Rodway now. Cooper. And conversions of 4 yellow defensive jerseys, but spins his way out, lays it out for West. Duncan. Reed Jones now.
Looks like they've swapped sides, I think. Dunks and Zach Thomas.
Zach might be like me when I played most of my sporting career. I only played on the crowd side.
I think wasn't very long, was it?
No.
The sporting career?
No. or the time I was out there each game either. I was there for a good time, not a long time. As Kirihara sends it wide. Griffiths looking to cross it in. Does find Taylor. The two substitutes combine. That just beats Kirihara by a little. Cooper gets it half cleared. Donnellan racing back. Zervis and Norton nearly collided. Langwa comes away with it. Takes a shot from range. Pearce parries it to the right. He almost caught everyone napping. The only person paying attention was Adam Pearce.
Almost pierced the goal there.
Set it up, Tabs. Let's go.
Oh, that made a little bit of play on words.
Sorry,
You've been practicing those?
The worst form of humour, isn't it, puns?
Dad jokes? No, we're good with that. Say something about, puns being on par with Irish limericks, but we don't want to get Roy offside. He might be within.
No, we can't get him offside. I think that's Muller's job.
You got all the one-liners now. Kenny, you've been doing this for long enough.
All warmed up.
All warmed
been
up.
3 weeks.
Just absolutely flying. Calling up for the Jaffas. Not quite what they would have wanted there in terms of execution, and get a fortunate deflection at the front post, and I'll get away with another one. They go short. This time Kirihara's there. Almost catches them napping. Takes a shot. Oh, push across the crossbar. Looked like Kirihara was taking a shot, but Bond snuck through to the back post and just pushed it across the crossbar. And that's a chance gone begging, you have to say, for Lambton.
Yeah, definitely. Not too sure how much he knew of it. He just stuck his foot out by the looks of it, but nonetheless a fair opportunity for the Jaffas.
Certainly is, but we stay at 0-0. This second half continues to elapse.
Been a fair battle there between Mr. McNaughton and Mullen.
Yeah, there's no quarter given nor gained, but I'll tell you what, Riley McNaughton might not, I'll be happy to say he's not the biggest centre-back in the league. He'll be one of the smaller ones, but he does not give an inch. Very physical.
Yeah, I think Muller's played into his hands a bit. He's quite physical. He makes these runs off him and might make his life a bit more difficult as opposed to trying to get into those battles.
Taylor looking to create a run here. He gets a run out wide. Waller gets to the attacking third. Lays it off. Kirihara again. He's got an open man in field if he can find him, but turns the other way instead. Zervis now shuts down that attacking route. They go wide. Denellen on the right. Feeds it down the line.
Right shoulder.
Griffiths to get to the outside of Reed Jones, crossed it into the box. Beats everyone though, and Rodway will just clear it away with a little poke over the sideline.
Yeah, it was better defensively there from Olympic. Sort of made it difficult for Jaffas to play through their lines, force them wide and put it probably nothing crossing the box. But then the flip is, again, that transition, keeping that ball, just tossing it over the sideline, no pressure.
Waller takes the throw, gets it fed back to him. Olympic trying to close the avenues down, and the Jaffas, that is, go backwards. Denellen gets it at the middle of the centre circle. And Topple Stanley, he goes forward, the defence retreats. Waller crosses it into the box, but mishits that one, overcooks it, and it ends up in the crowd on the Northern Hill.
Yeah, got a great hold of that one.
Rodway gesturing for the ball here. Finding himself in space between the two lines of Jaffas' defence. We'll go the other way though to Thomas. He plays it back to the keeper in Pearce. I just feel there's an opportunity here for maybe a little bit of individual brilliance to open this one up.
Carry.
Pushed wide. Turned over though. Langlois comes. Sent down the line now. Crossed in. Beats everyone. Seems to have been the story of the day so far. Lots of great crossing positions. No one able to convert. Zervis finds Toby. Ooh. Ball taken away. Pat Bond with a good technical tackle. Chipped forward now. Griffiths out wide. Crossed it in against his former club. Hits the back of Thomas. Hits the back of Thomas again, and then comes off Griffiths in the end and will have a goal kick.
Better from Olympic there, taking that ball up on transition. Had a go, at least. Didn't work out. It was a great tackle from Bondi. I think, again, the same thing. Playing out from the back is useful at times in football, recognising when and why to do it. I think Olympic have done it a few times now and they've moved the ball, but Jaffas are quite experienced and organised. They're not actually manipulating them at all, so I can't see too much more benefit in actually doing it for much longer. I think utilise and conserve your energy, especially against their backline. Make them jump, as you said. They're mature, to speak nicely of the elderly, but yeah, get them moving a bit more and really work them all day as opposed to playing around at the back. They're not really moving much at all. Kick it long, flick-ons, they're scary as a centre-back. As you get older, you don't want to be turning and chasing every single time.
Especially when you've got the likes of, Zervis, Toby, Bradbury for Olympic, who they've all got very deft touch, but they've also got pace and great change of direction.
Yeah, and the other thing is,
Griffiths here trying to play it in, but just does enough to earn a corner.
The other thing is, like, when that happens, obviously the ball's a lot further away from your goal, so the other team's got to make another 60, 70 yards just to get a shot off. So has its drawbacks, yes. You're not in control of the ball as much, but a little bit more danger. little bit more aggressive, pick up the second ball, but then it's that plan, you know it's going to happen instead of sort of doing it off the cuff and it's just a clearance. You're prepared for it, you're in better positions, both attacking and defensively.
It's an old adage, isn't it? Played at the other end.
Exactly right.
Cross comes in, and the corner throw comes in, and punch clear. Norton fighting tooth and nail, comes away with it, gets the outside of Toby, crosses it in. It's a little deflection, doesn't quite cross the byline, and Pearce nabs it and races out looking for the quick counter.
And that was my point earlier about those skills you learn in football. Like, yeah, there's a lot of technical ones, skillful players and whatnot, but football is so much more than that. It's reading, learning players, tactics.
Cooper tried to find Zervis there.
Decision to pass the ball or keep the ball and things like that. So,
Kirihara, West gets a boot in.
Speak about the experience of both sides and the back line of Jaffas and whatnot, and even the front line of Olympic, but that's what they bring, and they recognise those moments, and I think that'll be probably the most deciding factor in this game. A few extra substitutes coming on with a bit of experience also.
I was going to say double change coming. Speaking of experience, Blake Green got up his 100th game at the start of the season. Still no sign of the luck of the Irish in Roy O'Donovan.
Quite a colourful player, Green is. Can't wait to see him get on.
They're losing their impact, I think. I think the puns are losing their impact a little, but that's all right. Keep going. Keep going.
That was my first one for today.
That was your first one, was it? The others were just
the other one was
statements
a
that happened
warm-up.
to be. Yeah.
That was a warm-up.
Let's have a look at these changes. So Max Cotton and Blake Green coming on. And Nathan Toby and Jack Reed-Jones coming off. Three changes already for Olympic. Taylor wins out there against Cotton. Zervis slices it on off the outside of the right. Griffiths is going to try and go direct. Threads the ball through, but picks out his former teammate in Duncan.
He's done well there to get out.
Cotton straight away trying to release the pass for Bradbury, but Ben Kennedy races off his line. I looked at Ben Kanerowski. That would have been a sight. You in goals, mate?
Yeah, I've raced off my line for a while. I'd be stuck in the mud, I think.
How'd you go up against BK versus BK in a foot race at the moment?
At the moment, it'd be fair.
Call it a draw and go to the pub.
For which one of us, I'm not sure.
No, as I said, just call it a draw and go to the pub. That sounds like a safe option.
I think his penalty saving stat last year was actually quite remarkable.
Well, he saved a couple in the charity shield this year too.
As well, did he? I think he saved like 9 last year. And some important ones too.
Giving away 9 penalties in a season. That's probably a bigger concern. Oh, he has got Topper at the back, hasn't he?
I think the referees were giving him away.
The referees were giving him away. Well done, yeah, thank you there. Through on goal, here's an opportunity. Well done. Adam Pearce off his line just does enough to snatch it.
Great save
from the feet of Lachlan Griffiths. Speaking of players looking to score against their former side. And there's a man who can get off his line, Adam Pearce. To be fair, it's only about 4 steps for him from the goal line to the top of the 18-yard box.
He's got some long levers, doesn't he? It's a great ball. Oh.
Flag comes up again.
Again, it shows you just how dangerous that is when the ball bounces as a defender. I know it's been said for yonks, to use a better phrase.
Well, we saw it last time when we called Olympic in a match the round against Valentine. They got caught out in the first half, and
yeah, that was a long ball especially, but just the bounce whenever it is as a defender, you never want to let that ball bounce. Makes it just unpredictable. You're not in control, especially as a defender. They're not very creative. They love to be in control of everything. Scary for them when they don't have that control.
Certainly is. We see looks like a change coming for Olympic. That's for Olympic for Jaffas. Apologies. In the meantime, Pierce just working it out, trying to play with Thomas. Lucky Graham getting ready to come into it. Whipped over the head by Waller. Taylor racing down, trying to put pressure on Cooper. Cooper gets it down the line, deflected off a couple of players before it falls for Waller. Carl tries to tap it onto his own advantage, but turns it over and it's sent wide the other side. Muller well and truly onside this time.
Better there from
Racing
Olympic.
forward, the pace of Blake Green. He's dispossessed though. Former teammate Langlois.
I think that's the difference there. Greeny's a bit more comfortable and natural going forward, attacking, gives them that extra width, gives that midfielder that extra opportunity to pick that pass.
Cooper puts it out in front of Rodway, just a little too heavy, and here comes the change for Jaffas. And it's going to be Carl coming off. And Lockie Graham will go on. He'll slot into midfield. Kirihara will go to the top of the attack. Seeing progress. Roy's got his shin pads.
Yeah.
He's got a playing jersey yet,
I
but
don't
that's
even
all
think
right.
he's needed him, actually. They made a tackle.
Yeah, fast enough going forwards. Don't worry about tracking back. This is
You're right.
the James Harden School of Offence.
If you kick with them, they actually come off a bit harder.
Take on the Adelaide United approach at the moment. They seem to be thinking that, you know, it doesn't matter how many goals we let in, we'll try and score more, but they keep letting in 5, which makes it hard.
It was very close to a handball, wasn't it?
Yeah, looked tight. Taylor racing down the sideline. Reece Cooper with a little, just a little tug of the sleeve.
I would argue that was quite soft.
I would agree with you that it's soft, but at the end of the day, if you don't grab the jersey, you can't be done for that, can you? So.
Yeah, I don't think he grabbed the jersey there. I think he's, both arms are up. He was running with his arms up as well. Yeah, he goes thought differently. This is dangerous now. Dangerous position for a cross. Good area.
Wow, dangerous from the dead ball as well. Got a pack there, and the man that I'm keeping an eye on loitering dangerous at the back is Topor Stanley, and he's left it short though, Langlois. Waller, will he wind up and take a shot? Yes, he will. It looked like it came off his shin, and Pierce comes through after he gets a deflection, and they straight away go on the counter attack. Max Cotton racing forward. If he can get a friendly bounce, he's in a good spot here. He's got a run up wide on the other side, Bradbury, but just couldn't quite control the way he wanted.
Not sure what he was doing there. He was
not quite sure, just almost trying to over-control it rather than just trying to push it forward, and Waller in the end clears it.
The coach has told him most headers win.
It might be a prize tonight. We get some
after-match function.
Thomas on the touch. Duncan. Cooper now. What can he conjure here? Midfield general trying to set it up for them.
Yeah, the introduction of Reece in that midfield's created that bit more stability, especially on that.
We've come back for a late offside there. That wasn't against Jared Muller this time.
I think it was the first one.
Another change. Bless you, mate.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sneeze on you.
That's all right.
Against your cologne.
What we got happening here? We got a stoppage. Are we having a change? We are having a change. Final change for the home side in Jaffas. Going to be Zach McShane coming on. Tom Waller will come off. Heading into the closing stages of this one. Evenly poised. It'd be fair to say from what we've seen so far that a share of the points would be fair, but neither side will be happy at this point to accept that. Kennedy now playing around with it at his feet. Really took that to the last moment. Zach McShane absolutely cleaned up by Max Cotton.
Oh, but you know what that's done is just shifted that momentum. As I think I heard it in a recent Roy Keane little video that whenever he thought he wasn't in the game, he just go out and kick someone.
Yeah, well, it's all about what works. Speaking of Royce, Roy Donovan with the jersey on now, warming up, getting ready to go.
Oh, he looks fast.
Stanley lobs it forward, looking for Kirihara. Gets it away from the keeper, but the flag goes up for offside. He's pointing at someone else in the crowd saying they told him that he's onside. I'm not sure what's happening.
I think it was BK again.
And moonlighting the assistant referee. Well, they say fake it till you make it. He's got the outfit ready to go.
Doesn't he?
Breaking news, Ben Kennedy to sign with the Northern New South Wales Football Referees next year.
Double the match payments. A few ethical considerations there, I guess.
Yeah, well, I reckon he'll be offering to be VAR up next to the cameraman here. Ball forward for Max Cotton. This looks dangerous. McShane racing away and pushes it across the sideline.
It was a close one there. It's a few times just those straight long balls from Jaffas have caught Olympic off guard.
Now Cotton. He's certainly injected some spark since he's gone on Max Cotton. Gets it off. Rodway will take the throw. Looks to go long into the box. We saw that used with effect against Olympic the other week by Zuri. Rodway will come from the field. And Cotton's going to drop back to a right back, and Muller will push across to the side, to the right forward or right wing, and unsurprisingly, O'Donovan goes to the head of the attack.
Yeah, and you see already Roy's just stretched the defence, mate. Gives that midfield the extra room to play.
It's the first touch early. It's great to see. Obviously, it was a very vaunted signing for Olympic in the off-season, so great to see him back on the field. Hopefully, staying fit for the remainder of the season for them. He's going to be a key part of a deep push for the men in blue.
Yeah, I think so. I think just what he'll bring as an attacker and with that experience, you see what it does for Jaffas in their backline. Someone like Nikolai, the wealth of knowledge he has of football. I think Roy will do the same, especially in that front half of the field for Olympic. Already stretching the game out a bit.
There we go. Ball wide for him. He's hugging the touchline. He's gone to ground and caught his own foot there in the shadows on the sideline. Cotton pressing. Gets the throw in for his side.
Again, those throw-ins from the fullbacks, they bounce them right in front of the midfielders. Hard to watch. I'm sure Benny Hay can attest when they throw it right in front of him and it bounces at his neck. He loves them.
Ball comes down for Muller here, threads it in. Top of Stanley back looking for it though. He just didn't quite put enough power on it to get it to O'Donovan. As you say, you can see O'Donovan just taking control of this attack. He's pushing himself. He'll be at the head of the attack, then he pushes across to the right.
Yeah, that movement, not just always back, but laterally and even and beyond, like it just creates that doubt as the defender, no matter how much experience you have.
The other end, Griffith goes on the attack. Little boot in from Blake Green. Blake Green tries to convince the assistant referee that it wasn't him, and the assistant referee having none of it, so they'll get the throw. Lambton halfway down in the attacking half. Throw goes the way of Bond. Back for Denellen. And again, Blake Green pokes it over the line. Just pinning it down in this northeastern corner here at Arthur Eden Oval. Northern New South Wales NPL men's match that around round 7. Lambton, Jaffas hosting Newcastle Olympic. 0-all at this stage, deep into the match. Both sides just continue to try and push the advantage and snatch the 3 points here. That pass won't do it. Picked off by Topple Stanley. Denellen cuts back infield, slices it across for McShane. McShane, a heavy touch forward, gets it out in front of himself. He's got plenty of time and space, and he's going to try and take it on. Plays it infield. Taylor under pressure from Zervis. Just a little touch from Cooper. Maurice Cooper not overly enamoured with the decision from the referee to call that a foul.
Yeah, look, probably heard his teammates make a shout there on the bench. I feel like he was a bit lazy in that challenge. He was going nowhere. He had his two other teammates there. Just disappointed in that decision from Reese. He knows he better than that.
Referee just trying to point out Adam Jervis where he needs to stand at a quiet distance. Get it all sorted out, and McShane over the ball now, is it? No, sorry, it was Bond. Long hair, hard to tell apart. That one just headed defensively over the crossbar. Wasn't exactly a clinical clearance from the Olympic defence, but worked nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly. A much better delivery from Bondi, I think, there.
And he'll now step up to take the corner. Taking over from Langlois.
It's how dangerous the set pieces can be, especially in these parts of the game. Late on, not many chance creations happening in the field of play.
No love lost between Zach Thomas and Nikolai Topol-Stanley, the two big boys going shoulder to shoulder here. As the back post brought their ground, pushed just to the right of the post. They couldn't control it. Jaffas and get a threatening shot on target. And remain at 0-0. Olympic happy just to play it out from the back, nothing presenting for a quick counter attack. Three minutes of additional time for someone to snatch 3 points. Could be fitting. Topol-Stanley again, just the defensive wall he's been all day. Intercepts another pass. He's going to be in the double digits in terms of attacks he's broken down individually. I might have been giving a bit of grief about his age creeping up towards that large jersey number, but I'll tell you what, he doesn't miss a beat. The interceptions might be too. McShane bamboozles Muller, crosses it into the box. Looking for the run from Lockie Graham. Kirihara thought for a moment there that he might have had opportunity on goal, but broken up. West comes away with it.
This is the danger last few minutes of the game.
Bradbury. O'Donovan trying to time his run in between McShane and Topol-Stanley. Cuts into the box. Defenders all around him, but he continues to hold possession, threads it in. A little back heel. That would have been some sort of goal. Roy O'Donovan couldn't get it on target though. I'm just trying to wire back the clock, thinking he's a bit of a more advanced in age, Riley McGree.
Yeah, I think so. Would have been a one for the record books, that one. End of the game.
It would have been close to a goal of the year. Lock it up at this point. I think if he managed to get that on target and above Ben Kennedy and in the net.
Yeah.
Both teams know what's on the line here. Key points. You want to chase 3 points, but you don't want to be caught napping on the counter and give up one.
No, not at all, especially with the importance of this game, with some catch-up games to be played and whatnot. Points are going to be very crucial.
Certainly are. Shot from Taylor. A little too big. Over the crossbar.
And back to school.
He's almost landing Lambton high. Of course, you've seen the background he shots today. The magnificent McDonald Jones Stadium. The turf he once graced. Boys will be at home again tomorrow, up against Wellington, I think, if my memory serves.
Yeah, 5 o'clock kickoff.
I saw Sunday twilight, a little bit cooler than it is here today, you'd think.
I think it'll be interesting because it's first day of daylight saving, I think, kicks in tonight.
Will be, yeah. So it's sort of about this time tomorrow it'll be kicking off, really, isn't it? I think it comes back one. McShane, Kirihara. 1-2. Kirihara tries to make a run and move down the line to create some space. McNaughton. I thought he was going to wind up for a shot there, but he tries to feed Kirihara instead. He can't be long left. We're on the referee's whistle now into added time. McNaughton, Topol-Stanley. Feeds it for Kirihara. McShane coming wide. Cotton comes and fires it across the sideline. It'll be a throw-in for Lambton. Can they snatch a victory here late at home? McShane looking for options. Thomas and Lockie Graham now having a battle. Throw comes forward. Cotton clears it across the sideline, and the deadlock cannot be broken. A scoreless draw here between Newcastle Olympic and Lambton Jaffas, and probably a fitting result considering both sides had opportunities, but neither really looked to be that creative and finishing force.
No, I think not. I think they both had probably fair but not clear-cut chances. I think a nil or draw is probably a good result for both sides. Probably wanted to come away with at least something out of the game, and it's not nothing, but something to build on, I guess, for the next upcoming games that they might have.
Well, the draw will see Lambton lift up till 7th on the ladder, and for Olympic they'll sneak up to 3rd for the time being, pending the results of other matches over the weekend. Of course, make sure you do stay tuned to Northern New South Wales Football's YouTube channel. You can catch all the NPL men's and women's first and reserve grade games across the weekend. And as I said, you can switch straight from this game now that we're wrapping up. You've got the option of Valentine and Charlestown, or Bell, Swans and Western. Chris McPherson and Ben Kanarowski signing out here from the round 7 match of the round. A 0-0 draw between Lambton Jaffas and Newcastle Olympic.